What you're trying to say is just focus on the 20 and you'll grow the 80.
Absolutely.
So don't worry about the other 80.
Absolutely, they'll come
Just
in.
grow your 20.
Because what happens, if you look at it this way...
Well, it's true, it works.
Can I take that off? Because we've got an idea now that what these people will do for us. A business, if you like, is a funnel. Where I have to tip people in the top. This is you got the Telstra. Some people spend all their money. You've got to put people in the top of the funnel. But once they're in there, they sort of shake down. And here's where the cogs are, and we actually do business. And then they come out of that process, and the good ones will go back and get in the funnel again. And if you've got a really good business, they'll actually tell a couple of people and bring a couple with them. Now some will go in here and bounce out again, you'll lose a few, but to keep your business right, you just need to market enough to keep the funnel full. You don't need, like, take the Telstra approach, where they're forever marketing to new people, because they can't hold them in here. They get none of this. I mean, I did have just a single service with Telstra, but it's a boring story, but I was forced to go back with them. And I said to the girl, "You don't know how hard this is." I said, "I just hate it." I said, she was delightful, but I said, this is, I'll tell you just a little story. I bought a laptop and I needed a mobile Wi-Fi thing, you know, and you go back 4 years, that Telstra was the only one that could give it to me, so I had to go to Telstra. And when I went to this, they said, "Oh, that'll be $300 something, but if you give us another service, it'll be $60. And I said, "Oh no." And I said, "Well, I said, "I'll give you my mobile phone." And I had, until recently, one of those old grey Nokias, you know, clunker thing. And I pulled it out, and this girl's eyes literally went boing, you know, and I said to her, "No, don't even go there." I said, "I'm not selling you a phone, it rings, and it's bad enough that I've got to do with Telstra." Anyway, but I was able to cancel all that the other day, and then I got this phone call from Telstra quizzing me as to why I left, what services, and they missed the point in time. I said, "I'll tell you why I left." Because when I went into the Telstra shop to buy a new phone, the service was so appalling. I went in 3, 4, 5 times and left every time. I said, "That's why I'm not here." But that wasn't on the survey.
Because you didn't get served? Or?
Couldn't even get served. In fact, I said to someone at the end, "Look, here's my business card, ring me."
Call?
No. So I went down the road to a private Optus thing, got absolutely everything I wanted. Well, I think we need to learn Telstra. But they,
just go to the business centre.
coming back, Janine, to your comment, that they are the classic that spend all their advertising trying to get people in here and have no plan to get me to come back. But nobody, does anybody here say, I really like Telstra? No, see? But they don't get the message.
But you know, I think sometimes you can get caught up in models and a whole lot of different ways of looking at things, but the way I see it is that if you keep it as simple as people forget what you said and forget what you did, but they never forget how you made them feel.
Really good point.
So, that's the
Coming
Say
from
that
a
again.
therapist.
Say that again.
people will forget what you said.
Yeah.
They'll forget what you did,
Yeah.
but they'll never forget how you made them feel.
That's really good.
And that is just the simplicity of it. I mean, you can have
Yep.
all your models and
Yep.
your strategies, and
Yep.
I mean, I'm not dismissing that at all for 1 minute. But at the end of the day, when you walk away from a business with whatever you want to do, you want to be able to walk away feeling like you've been heard,
Exactly.
feeling like your needs have been met, and feeling like that you're on at least the same plane as the person you're trying to talk to. I mean, that to me, it's like it's the kiss. You know, keep it simple, stupid.
And that's as someone put up here, that it's about the relationship, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And you can't build up a relationship with a whole lot of people you don't know. So the first thing we need to do is find those A-class customers and identify them and work with them.
Yeah.
So Chris, I've worked in a business where we've inverted the funnel just to make it a little different. So the clientele is fixed. So there's only so many customers you could service. And you know, in the grocery industry, you've got 3 or 4 majors and that's about it. So you couldn't expand your funnel, you know, the bottom of it. You get more in, you just have to get more out from them. So what
Oh,
you're-
so
Yeah.
you focused on increasing the value of the sale.
Correct.
Yeah.
So sometimes that funnel can be inverted depending on which industry you're working in.
Yep. I don't know about the funnel, but I totally agree.
Yeah.
And if
Oh, it's just, that's the way it was picked.
these people are high value, and hopefully I'm in a business where I can add value, either get them to come more frequently or sell them more when they're there. Now, if I'm not, then I would be thinking about how can I bring something else to the business so that I am actually adding some value. You know, if you had somebody that went through all the stuff of buying a pair of shoes, to sell them some socks and clean and a few other things was dead easy. And that's, as David says here with the meat thing, you know, that's where you can, the profitability on those add-ons are enormous. They can build the value. And getting them to come back, getting them to sell more for, I know what it was I was going to say. In the database, you know how I said about understanding the cycle? These guys realise that the secret in real estate is listings. You've got to have enough listings. So when their listings started to look a bit thin, they went through the database and looked at people that had bought houses 4 years ago. And this is absolutely true. He said, Chris, I can't believe this. He said, I ring 10 people and I get 3 listings. He said, not only that, I ring people and they say, isn't it funny that you rang? My husband and I were just saying last night, it's time we came and saw you. So that statistic of the cycle, because some people like me move every 25 years, but others move every 2 years. So you get that. The 4-year thing, he said, we didn't advertise anywhere other than listing in the paper. So they only have to do it because the vendor wants to see something. Nobody really buys out of the paper.
Because it's how they feel.
That's right. It's all emotional stuff. But that's a really important point. If you can identify some sort of cycle in your business and then tap into that, there is a rule of thumb which says you should be in touch with those A-class people at least every three times a year minimum, because otherwise you feel as they've forgotten. And like you were saying before, I mean, don't ring up to see why you left the business. Ring up to see if I'm happy and what I can, you know, I'm an AAPT convert, and they ring me, not as often as I like, but every couple of years, and generally put the price down.
You know, it's something, I've got a friend, and they're in the mining industry in the valley, and their vehicles that they purchase, they will only ever buy Lexus.
Yeah.
But the customer service is amazing. Like, I mean, the way the vehicles are delivered, the massive big bunch of flowers that comes for the lady, the fact that the vehicles are always detailed when they're taken for service, that a customer's never asked to drop it off and pick it up, someone comes and gets it. You know, it's that A-class service.
That's right.
And they would never have another vehicle for that reason. No, there's some really good stories around about the loyalty that it creates by, as you say, the attention to the emotional side of it and making sure that you...
And sometimes you've got to put yourself out there and actually tell the customers as modestly as possible what you do, because some people don't understand that not everybody does that.
Absolutely. And for those of you that are in professional positions, like accountants and that, are the worst at telling somebody how it is they got to their bill, you know, because they don't actually sit down. They'll say, look, we've got your tax return here, and it should have been this, but we've got it down to this, and by the way, our bill's about the same. So what they don't do is say, look, we've been monitoring this, we've been looking at that for you. When I did my consulting, one of the things I was really careful to do was each time the client came back, we looked at how far we'd come and what we'd actually done, so that they could see what was happening and got some appreciation of the effort that we were all making. So that's what we don't explain. And even in a manufacturing thing, I mean, people just say something goes this and something comes out there. Nobody sort of says, can I take you as an important customer, can I show you what we do? There's 17 steps in making a plug.